This video is about a new pump that I've just purchased called the MC450. It comes from what I think are two manufacturers. There's one which is Newa, Newa, and another Microjet. I think it's the same pump, just different labels on the side of it. Mine is the Newa model. The idea of this video is to give you an overview of the pump, some videos of it running, so you can understand how noisy it is, and then give you some tips as well on how to quieten it down, and me sort of taking it apart. Anyway, there's going to be links around now, so you can click to the section that you want to view. So when you get your pump, it comes in a little plastic bag. It's got the model that it is, Oxy 450. There's a little instruction thing about how to connect up the airline and the pump itself. I've taken this into pieces a little bit just to show you a few things that I'd recommend you do. The first thing is, this unclips. There's a clip there and there. You could just put your fingernails in there and try and prise it off. That's the easiest way to get it off. Inside there's a filter. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this. I've got some filtration that's going to go before this in the filter that I'm building, so I'm not sure yet. This piece I've taken off, and this limits the flow to the impeller. Now, it's really soft, rubbish plastic. Whenever you move it around or put it in something, this changes what it's set to anyway. I want it a full whack, so I got rid of it. The other tip with the airline is when this arrives, the ends of the line come cut at a diagonal kind of angle. I'll straighten these off just by clipping them with a pair of scissors. You get a much more solid fit when you attach it to the pump. The top of the pump, this is 12mm internal diameter tubing, fits reasonably snugly. I think you could probably get away with an 11 a bit better, 11mm on there. I think it'd be a bit tighter. I bought mine from 3CH, 3 Counties Hydroponics. It was 14 quid. You can get a 320 version of it. The other thing that I did was lubed up the impeller. Now, I'd strongly recommend that you did do some form of lubricating that, because it's really noisy when you first get it. It rattles, it's not very smooth. The pump's only 14 quid and it's pumping a lot of water, and it's, you know, it's not going to be the best thing in the business. So that bit of lube really works. Now it's up to you what lube you use. I used Vaseline. I'm not recommending that you use Vaseline, it's what I did. Have a look online. There's some controversy between using lubricants inside aquariums. I've used Vaseline. I haven't seen any oily based substances on the surface of my aquarium when I've run it. It seems okay. Others say don't use it, use silicone based lubricants, and then I've read other people saying that they're not suitable. So have a read up and take your pick. What I'm going to do now is pop it in some water and just show you how powerful it is in there, and also so you can get an idea of how noisy it is. I think, yes, I do. I've got the aeration on, so you will get more water coming out with the less aeration. Essentially, it's limited by the volume that can put through the impeller. However, if I stick it on the side of the bucket, you get a sense of the vibration noise. Hopefully you can hear that. The water polisher that I've made, I'll give you a quick run through of how I made that. The idea was to see if that dampens the vibration down, which it does quite significantly, and then you don't hear a noise at all. Essentially it sounds as if it's not connected up to anything, it's just floating, which is pretty much silent, and it only does that if you lube it up. If you don't, it's going to be really noisy. The idea of this part of the video is to just show you how I made my water polisher. It's basically just a plastic pot that had juice in it. I've made a hole for the airline with a soldering iron actually. Be careful of the fumes. Burning plastic is toxic. I've watched a lot of video of people just stabbing holes in plastic and there's fumes coming off. Make sure you're in a well ventilated area if you're doing that. or use drill. Anyway, because this was just primarily a test to see how noisy the pump is inside a container, I didn't do anything with the plug. The plug is a solid plug. You can't unscrew this, so to get this through a hole I'd have to cut this and get another plug, which is on the way from my other filter. But for the time being, I just essentially stuffed this floss inside the pump around it to get it suspended in the middle of the pot, and then just lightly pack it at the intake end of the pump. I've put it inside what's essentially a water polisher. It's got some polyester floss that I've got out of an old cushion that is 100% polyester. There's no additives, there's no fire retardants, that kind of stuff on the material. Yeah, so I'll turn it on. Basically, you can't hear a thing. What you will notice is when you allow air into the impeller, there is a noise. You can hear the sort of common bubbling sound as the air hits the impeller and gets chopped up into little pieces and gets spat out the front of it. So yeah, with just a few modifications you can get a really quiet aerating pump out of it.